the Imam was received there with a unique popular reception. For Nishapur did such a reception throughout its history. At the head of those who received him were the scholars, the virtuous, and the traditionalists, who have narrated on his authority Al-Hadith Al-Dhahabi, which we will mention. The scholars and the traditionalists surrounded the Imam, peace be on him, who was on the back of a grey mule wearing his turban. At the head of the scholars were Yahya bin Yahya, Ishaq bin Rahawa, Muhammad bin Rafi, Ahmad bin Harb, and others. When the people saw him, and he was in that appearance, which gave an account of the appearance of Allah's Messenger, may Allah bless him and his family, they said loudly, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. They displayed sadness for the Imam and wept for him. That area became noisy out of weeping. So the scholars and the huffaz, the memorizers of the Quran, called out,
O people, listen, understand, and do not harm the Messenger of Allah. Allah has sent his blessings on his family.
Then the Imam, peace be on him, delivered to the scholars this holy tradition, saying,
I have heard from my father, Ja'far bin Musa bin Ja'far, say, I have heard from my father, Ja'far bin Muhammad, say, I have heard from my father, Muhammad bin Ali, say, I have heard from my father, Ali bin Hussein, say, I have heard from my father, Hussein bin Ali, say, I have heard from Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of the faithful, Ali ibn Abi Talib, say, that I heard the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, may Allah Jalla Jalaluhu Rabbi bless him and his family, say that I heard from the Archangel Jibreel, say that I heard from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say Kalimatu La ilaha illallah Hismi, say on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no God save Allah is my stronghold. Man dakhalahu hismi, and whosoever enters into my stronghold, amina min awabi, shall be saved from my chastisement. Wa shartiha wa shurutiha, and there are conditions and prerequisites to be made. Wa ana min shurutiha, and I am one of those conditions.
surely the statement, there is no God but Allah, is one of the strongholds of Allah, the Most High. But according to conditions, among which is professing the imamat of Imam Ridha, peace be on him, who is one of the testamentary trustees of Allah's Apostle, may Allah bless him and his family. more than 20,000 scholars and memorizers of the Quran, Huffaz, have written this holy tradition. As for the chain of authorities of this tradition, it is the greatest and most wonderful of all chains of authorities. Ahmad bin Hanbal says, if this chain of authorities was recited before a mad person, he would recover from his madness. A Samani ruler ordered this tradition to be written in gold and to be buried along with him. The Imam, peace be on him, stopped at the district of Al-Gharabi Al-Farabi, in the house of a person whom the people of Nishapur called Bisanda. A Persian word means satisfactory, for the Imam was satisfied with him apart from the rest of the people, and stopped at his house. Then the Imam planted an almond in that house, and it grew and became a tree and bore fruit in a year. When the people came to know of the tree, they began curing themselves with its fruit. So, he who was inflicted by a certain malady or by a certain disease got the blessing through eating some of its fruit. And he recovered through the blessings of the great Imam. However, there were certain people who had doubts and made a mockery of it. Ibn Hamdan, who once came and cut down the tree, and he started cutting the tree. And he became blind.
My eyes! I cannot see. How is this? No, this is not possible. I do not understand.
Al-Ma'mun ordered the Imam to be received with an official reception. So the armed forces and the rest of the people went out to receive him. Al-Ma'mun ordered the Imam to be received with an official reception. So the armed forces and the rest of the people went out to receive him. Al-Ma'mun was at the head of those who received him. There were along with him Al-Fadl bin Sahal, the rest of his ministers and advisors. He shakes hands with the Imam. He welcomes him warmly. he appointed for him a splendid house supplied with servants and all the necessary requirements, and took great care of him. Al-Ma'mun officially abdicated the caliphate and asked the Imam, peace be on him, to undertake it, saying,
Ya Ibn Rasulullah, I have seen your knowledge, your piety, your asceticism, and your way of worship, and therefore I believe that you are a better successor to the caliphate than myself.
Through renouncing the world, I hope for the salvation from the evils of this world. Through refraining from the unlawful, I wish to win good final results. Through humbleness, I wish to seek exaltedness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jalla Jalaluhu Rabbi.
I have removed myself from the caliphate and seen that you are better to entrust it with.
However, the Imam was fully aware of the intentions of Al-Ma'mun, who spared no effort to achieve his political objectives. How did Al-Ma'mun abdicate the caliphate, while for it he killed his brother Al-Amin, destroyed Baghdad, spread bereavement, sadness, and mourning among the regions of Islamic world? How did he hand it over to the Imam? In spite of all these evil deeds, the Imam gave a decisive answer, which enraged Al-Ma'mun, saying to him,
if this caliphate belongs to you, then it is not permissible for you to remove the garment in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jalla Jalaluhu Rabbi, has clothed you with, and give it to any other than you. However, O Ma'mun, if this caliphate does not belong to you, then it is not permissible for you to give to me something which does not belong to you.
There will be no escaping you accepting this matter.
I will never do that willingly.
Dhu al-Riyasatayn, Fazl bin Sahal, admired this attitude of them and began saying,
how unusual, how unusual. I have seen Al-Ma'mun, the commander of the faithful, entrusting the matter of the caliphate to Ali al-Ridha, and I have seen al-Ridha saying to him that I have no need, no ability or any power for that. I have never seen the caliphate more abandoned than that.
The Imam, peace be on him, was aware of the false purpose, for Al-Ma'mun belonged to the Abbasid family, who harbored malice against the members of the Ahlul Bayt, peace be on them, killed them during the brightness of day and darkness of night, and spared no efforts to eliminate them from the face of earth. As for Al-Ma'mun, he was the wickedest of them, for he killed the master of the Alawites, Imam Ridha alayhi salam, and killed other than him from among the pure Alawites. So how would the Imam trust him? Through all ways and means, Al-Ma'mun tried to convince the Imam, peace be on him, to accept the caliphate. But he refused him vigorously. He went on convincing the Imam for more than 2 months, but all his attempts came to nothing. For the Imam insisted on refusing him and refraining from undertaking any state office. All the diplomatic ways which Al-Ma'mun followed to convince the Imam, peace be on him, to accept the caliphate came to an end. So he thought that he had to follow another way, which was threatening the Imam to accept the successorship. He thought that now I will have to threaten the Imam to accept the regency.
Go and call Ali ibn Musa Ridha.
Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, reached the palace.
Assalamu alaikum ibn Rasulillah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
You will have to accept to become the crown prince, to succeed me if you would not like to take the Caliphate at this point.
I was informed by my father, who heard from Amir al-Mu'mineen, who heard from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. May Allah bless him and his family, that I shall be poisoned and leave this world before you do. The angels of the heavens and the earth shall weep over me, and that I shall be buried in a land far away from home.
Having heard what the Imam said, Al-Ma'mun falsely cries, just like the brothers of Yusuf cried over Yusuf alayhi salam.
Who dares insult or harm you, Ya ibn Rasulillah, in my presence?
O Ma'mun, you know that if I want, I can tell you who would kill me.
You are just making excuses, for you want the people to say that Ali ibn Musa Ridha is not attached to this world.
By Allah, Jalla Jalaluhu Rabbi, I have never told a lie since my Lord, the Great, the Exalted, created me. I have not renounced the world for the world, and I definitely know what you want.
What is it that I want?
Do you grant me security?
I have given you security.
The Imam explained the motives which urged Al-Ma'mun to vest regency in him, saying,
Through that, you wish the people to say that surely Ali bin Musa al-Ridha has not renounced the world. Rather, it is the world that has renounced him. Do you not see that he has accepted regency and that he craves for the Caliphate?
You always face me with what I hate. You have felt safe from my power. Either you accept the regency now, or I will make you accept it by force, be it if I must strike your head.
Oh Allah! You have prohibited me from taking my own soul into destruction. I have been forced. I am about to be killed by Abdullah al-Ma'mun if I do not accept regency. Verily, your covenant is the best of covenant, nor have I a friend except you. O Allah, grant me the success to establish your religion and to enliven the sunnah of your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Verily, you are the master and you are the helper. O Allah, you are the best of masters. O Allah, you are the best of helpers.
Having threatened the Imam to death, the Imam accepted regency, while he was weeping and sad, and pain and worries dominated him. However, the Imam mentioned before Al-Ma'mun some conditions which showed that he was dissatisfied with regency and that he was forced to accept this office. These conditions were as follows.
I am helpless in this case, and I do not have any other choice but to accept your regency and successorship. However, I have some conditions to be met. Number one, I shall not appoint any governor. Number 2, I will not dismiss anyone. Number 3, I will not abolish anyone's right. And number 4, I shall remain a distant advisor in the affairs of the state.
Yet Al-Ma'mun accepted these conditions. Al-Ma'mun held a general popular festival attended by the dignitaries, by the ministers, the high-ranking statesmen, the commanders of the armed forces, and the rest of the people. At their head were the Alawites and the Abbasids. The festival was held on Tuesday, the second day of the blessed month of Ramadan, in the year 201 after Hijrah. Al-Ma'mun was seated, and he had 2 red cushions placed for Imam Ridha, so that he would have the same kind of seat and covers. Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, was dressed in green and wearing a turban, and Imam entered in the court in the palace of Ma'mun with a sword.
Assalamu alaikum, Ya Rasulullah.
Wa alaykum salam.
Please be seated. O my son Abbas, to be the first to place allegiance to Imam Ridha, and then the others will follow.
As for the way the people followed to pledge allegiance to the Imam, peace be on him, it was unique, with which the Umayyad and the Abbasid kings were not familiar. For he, peace be on him, moved his hand and hit his own face with the back of it, and their faces with the palm.
Place out your hand for the pledge of allegiance.
The Apostle of Allah, may Allah bless him and his family, used to pledge this way when the people pledge allegiance to him.
Perhaps the Imam depended on these words of him, the exalted, the word of Allah, Yadullahi fawqa aydihim. The hand of Allah is above their hands. So it was not permissible for one who made the pledge of allegiance to place his own hand above the hand of the Prophet, may Allah bless him and his family, or above the hand of the Imam, peace be on him. Orators and poets rose and began to mention his great merit and summon the people to pledge allegiance to him. One of the close associates of Imam was feeling happy about what happened. Imam Ridha alayhi salam looked at him and signaled him to come closer. He went closer to him, and Imam said that no one else could hear,
Do not occupy your heart with this matter, and do not be happy about it. This is something which will not be achieved.
The matter was as the Imam, peace be on him, had said. For this pledge of allegiance to him was not achieved. And Al-Ma'mun broke his promise when he gave him poison to drink and assassinated Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha, salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, in Mashhad al-Muqaddas in Iran. According to some riwayah, Imam Ridha alayhi salam was given grapes. And Imam Ridha alayhi salam had 3 grapes. And the poison inflicted him. He dropped the utensil of grapes and left the palace of Mamun. I'll request all the participants to come forward. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Alhamdulillah, tonight's play, titled The Abundant Caliphate, has been a success. I'm truly thankful to everyone who have volunteered their time and effort, which was really inspiring to see. Before we end, there are a few people I want to thank. First of all, our participants this evening for all their hard work, their parents, Abbas Panju, Zahir Barkat Ali Abbas Rajali for Evi, brother Ayaz Ali, and in general to all those who have supported us in any possible form. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward their efforts in abundance with the wasila of Ali ibn Musa Ridha, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Lastly, I want to thank you all for coming and watching attentively. Without your continued support, we would not be able to put on events like this. Jazakumullah khair. And now I would request Brother Abbas Panju to come forward and present these gifts to the participants. Because every Kushali we do ask questions, but this time we thought that it's worth to gift the participants who spent a lot of time, including Brother Abbas Panju, to train them. And let us recite 3 loud salawat for the participants, for their side.
وزد وبارك